What? It's £50 an hour for these kind of questions. Let's just get the clock going. Yeah, well, what he's got, what options he's got, yeah, as you pointed out there, are conditional acceptance, and we can't be sure with a clear conscience who was out and about that day, and then we require proof of the driver that your claim is against. They've written to the V5 keeper assuming that that was the driver, so they're obliged to prove who their claim's against. And so you'd ask for that because you can't be sure with a clear conscience who was travelling that day. No one's employed by government. You know, government statutes are for employees and members of the government. Legislation is just strictly for citizens, employees, legal persons, and obviously we have drivers. You have a driver. You can accept the charges and manage it this way. And if it does go to a judiciary, then at least you would have had, in the eyes of the civil court practice and the civil procedure rules, you've done everything right, keeping the liability upon the claimant. So even though the matter may not be resolved and agreed, you would have to have an arbitrator look over everything, and if your paperwork precedes you, then there is no liability, but it will remain on the claimant. And if it's in front of a judge and they're in default, we all know that you can push that to win. So you've got to be ready for that kind of shit, or for them to accept it, which is quite remote, as Kevin has pointed out, which then they often leave it for the judiciary, the arbitrator, and for them to see. If you can hold your own nuts in front of that man and point out there's a fuck up, you'll get it discharged, you know, and that's simply as it is. Um, Have a look at the free letter conditional acceptance list. There's a couple of versions in the library, but the most recent ones are quite impressive, and they've worked effectively. So you've just got to hold it. You've got to hold the issuing authority to account. Yeah. There's an echo on the line. Sorry, sounds a bit weird. You appeal. You'd have got the option to appeal. You know, you appeal. Whoever enters the plea is liable. Yeah, you're right. If somebody puts the plea in on your behalf, then they take all liability. Yeah. So power of attorney. Well, what it's got to do, all you've got to do is make it clear and effective presentation where you let them know that it was you see yeah. If you let them know it was Barney, then you've let them know you've kind of done half the work for them. If worst case scenario, then you'd let them know it was Barney driving and not you, Michelle. But for all incidences, you can conditionally accept the legal maxims, axioms, governance of the protocols that move things forward, are allowed to move forward because of our acquiescence. So if we just say to them, okay, we accept the charges, and now that we are mitigating, is what you're doing, if you want to look at it that way, and you mitigate from you to the correct driver, which is Barney and his driver. So then Barney has to say, he will accept that if they can provide proof of him that day. So he takes it from you, and he accepts it conditionally, so they know it's him. But then he can then say, I require though, because there's a chance it might not have been. So because it's law, we ask for the proof. And if they can't provide the proof, and they're then going to ask for their money, we can say, well, we don't think it was him, and you can't prove that. So then you've got a choice of paying it, like Kevin said, and avoiding all bollocks, or you can just fight it and see, and then you'd have to argue this in a court of law and say it was, it was a bit sketchy. Some battles are worth fighting, and some aren't. Sometimes this is it. Listen, Barney, there is a little bit of a silver lining here, because there is another sovereign option still available to you, which may sweeten the deal. You can conditionally accept, and you can pay under duress and fear of terrorism, because they're telling you, if you do not deal with this controversy now, it will get to the point where there'll be fees, fines, forfeits, bailiffs, debt collectors, warrants for orders for taking control of goods, and it can go fucking mental. So out of fear of the Crown of the corporate city of London and their terrorism, because they say, if you don't deal with this, then we're going to get it one way or the other. So whether you like it or not, so you can say you'll pay it, and you can put it from the point of the duress, and say that you still require the proofs, and if they don't provide the proofs, and after this has been paid, they're going to have to look at giving a refund. You know, and if they don't give a refund, they've demanded money by terrorism, yeah, and they haven't, and you've paid it, but you've only paid it because you know they're going to come and fuck shit up if you don't pay it. So you pay it to stop your shit getting fucked up, but now give me the proof. If there is no proof, then I want the original money back and my fee schedule that's going to be incurred for my fucking damages, and eventually you'll push them into a corner and they'll give you the refund back. So there is a kind of a, you know, it's not always ideal, but yeah, when we say pick your battles wisely, you can still fight this, but you do it in reverse. And you've got to be that confident what you're doing. Yeah, and the 3 days when you get tickets on a horsey and they give you the yellow and black sticker, you've got 3 days to take it back to the issuing authority, and that comes from the bills of exchange. All contracts have a calling off period, and in legal land they call these adhesion contracts that they stick to us, adhesion, sticky, but they call that contract law. So in their contract law, which is really fucking trust and agreement, you know, by tacit acquiescence on our part, they have a 3 day calling off period. So you have the right under all of this as well, if you're quick enough in the future, to wang it back to them and say rejected under the bills of exchange, and it's written in there in one of the subsections of contract law. You get 3 days to reject and cancel and rescind any contract in England and Wales. Boom. Yeah. Yeah, tell them to get fucked. Yeah. Get fucked. No thanks. I filmed you. You can send them an email. You could send them an email. Yeah, that's an option. Echo. You can just, well, you fill it out. All rights retained. Retain your rights. By John. All rights retained. Bosh, and you know. It separates. It's just that the black ink is, they say, for official use, isn't it? But is it bollocks? It's legal use. It's for legal status. Yeah. Let me look at YouTube. Somebody's saying hello.
You can start going unjust enrichment, unjust enrichment, and can I have proof of service? You're charging me all this money. What service have you provided me to charge me all this money? So,
yeah.
Or you could drag it all out. out, ignore it all, and then in a few weeks' time, just go statutory debt, never received anything. Let's start it all again. If you want to jerk them around too.
Yeah. Yeah, we might just do the, get it in, get the problem in my name maybe, and then I can decide what I want to do. It's me my neck on the line, I suppose, isn't it? But I think that the good way is to sort of probably pay and that sort of thing, and then as David says, just do it, like you're forced to do it, isn't it, under duress. So,
and then maybe go back down. The other thing, of course, if you've got 3 tickets, isn't that 3 lots of the driver awareness course? That's going to cost you like 300 quid just to go on them to avoid any points.
I'd rather get the points, I think. I don't need, why do I even need a license anyway? I don't. Well, I do if I was working.
Yeah, if you were being employed, but of course they ignore all that. And the other thing is, where's the victim?
Yeah, there is no
victim.
Yeah.
Exactly, there isn't. And why?
Because I'm the beneficiary, I'm the beneficiary, aren't I? They're the trustee or they're the agent.
Yeah, I know that when you sign the paperwork, it's saying, you agree that you'll do this, that, and the other. But, again, you're back to the interception part because they're not the government. It's a private company putting these. Yeah. And don't forget, if you're a job centre, they're dissolved.
Oh, right.
Job centre's dissolved and not trading. So there's plenty of things like that you can do as a manager of the office you're going to, but they're not gonna make it easy for you.
Yeah, again.
Graham's done a little bit more on that side of it. So I've not done much with the unemployment side.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been sick for so long.
Yeah.
I've always been on the ESA income support side of it, as Graham is now.
Yeah.
Or has been for quite a while because his heart and stuff. But there's lots of things you can do, but they don't like it. VC it again, deciding the paperwork, VC it. But again, ultimately, they're probably just going to sanction you, and then you're in a difficult position.
Yeah.
With them, you go to tribunal, and they're just going to say, well, that's part of what you agreed. A tribunal isn't powerful enough to argue what we want to argue. You would have to take them to court proper over what they say. But yeah, you can certainly fight the demands and etc. And I think with this, all of this COVID nonsense running on, that's always
good
you
with
can
that.
use.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
You know, I can't go here, I can't go there.
Shut up your face. The trick of it, most of this is the trick of it is with the signature. Whenever they want you to sign, then just sign without liability. You put by Barney, that'll do. Or rights retained, something like that as well. That always is a nice little insurance. Can we say welcome to Simon? We have another guest. Someone's popped in. Welcome, thank you. Nice one, brother. What? Microphone, yeah, it's turned off. I'll let them sort that out. We'll get there in good time. Fill in the paperwork, be careful, present your person, retain your rights, sign, autograph instead of sign. That's half the battle, and just be as conservative as you can. What you talking about, Philistine? Oh, went to the cupboard and the cupboard was bare. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard. Kill Kev, Kill Bill. Yeah, there's one called Kill Kev, and Kill Bill.
Yeah.
The bill that's in Parliament, just sort of saying how interesting the language they use.
Yeah. Are they trying to destroy the police then, do you think, or what?
Well, that is never going to happen. The trouble is, look what's happening. The more it's kicking off, the more powers they're trying to slide towards them. So it's what's the word? It's self-defeating.
Yeah.
That's how it seems to me. The more people are kicking up a fuss, the more powers seem to be given to them. I'm saying they're getting more and more draconian. I don't know it's like. What's the other thing you just come up with, Morris? Is we're bringing in the old vaccination passports, but only for a year.
Temporary. Yeah.
Yeah, gone. Of course, it'd be only a year.
Oh dear. So we're not going anywhere then?
Well, as I say, I still think, I'd like to hope that this is maybe to get more uptake on the vaccine.
Right.
And then they'll go, oh, actually, we've hit X percentage of vaccinated people. So actually, all that stuff we talked about, no need for it now. So it could be
A ploy.
here again. Yeah, a ploy. I'm not sure.
I mean, I don't know. Everything points towards
What?
and
I'm muted.
we know
I'm
what
listening
they
to
want,
Barney and
you know,
Kev.
with no one will be
They can't
voting
hear me.
anywhere.
Yeah, I still find them ignoring basics though. Nuremberg Code, consent, that's all UNCHR, that's all still absolutely valid, but of course, the majority of people have no clue about all of that. It's only people like us that will discuss it, and that's what they're banking on, the majority.
Yeah.
Which will comply.
Yeah.
No?
Where does that leave us, though?
Well, but we still have, just because the majority complies, that doesn't make us liable to comply.
No.
That's a fact. Just because everybody else is doing it doesn't mean we have to do it.
That's
We
true.
still stand on those rights.
Yeah.
And those, charters of rights and principles. But ultimately, the pub trade's gone down the Swanee anyway.
That's finished.
What are you going to do with it?
That is finished. All those poor pubs, mate. You know, it's shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know. And now it's what is it? Only if you've got outdoor space, you can.
Oh, that's mental, isn't it? You can go to a restaurant. You can't go indoors, but you can sit indoors, outdoors.
That's how bad it is. They're just so blatant, and then it's a load of nonsense. They don't care anymore, do they? They are showing. Wasn't it, yeah? And the joke was something like, "Oh, have you heard the latest about the AstraZeneca vaccine? It's giving people strokes and something else." And I put a message back to him. I said, "Tricky, I did try and warn you, mate." And then he texted me back saying, "Oh, April Fools." I said, "It's no joke, mate." I said, "People are getting strokes, dying left, right, and centre." He didn't respond to that one, but he's already had his anyway. First jab.
Oh, cyborg. Your first cyborg friend.
Yeah, it's awful, you know. Everything I say is a load of rubbish, according to him. But I don't bother anymore.
Rubbish.
I don't bother. I've tried to say, help. You can't help people. Some people could be helped, you know.
No, it's beyond most of them. Yeah, most of them will comply. No matter what they say, most of them, some of them, I wouldn't even call them keyboard warriors. They're just, they talk this stuff and then they're straight down, they're having it. You know, this is what I want. But, I mean, to me, it's very easy for me.
If anyone pops in, I'll mute them like this. I'll say hello, and then we'll listen back in and join in. So, what? We'll carry on. It's very quiet.
Not going to the pub for me is really not a problem.
No.
It wouldn't change my life. I like going to the pub.
Yeah.
You know,
the time in the right place, you know. It's a nice pub and you can go with your missus, have a nice meal and maybe a drink outside, one or two at the most, you know. That's my idea of a day at the pub. You know, not
all these delivery places. But, you know, they deliver stuff to you. They're going to be making a killing. Yeah, we'll deliver us a case of lager and have the people around the house. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but that's what they want anyway, don't they? They don't want people in the pubs talking, do they?
No, that's right. Exchanging information.
Yeah, exactly, you know, so they can destroy that. I mean, it's a multi-pronged attack as usual. It's never just a one-sided attack. You're attacked on all fronts by everything that they do. You know, there's more than one reason for everything, isn't there? You know. Yeah. So it's all hidden and there's more, you know, it never ends. You see, a lot of the time, as you see, they put something out and then they see how it's received and then they step it up a bit. And they step it up a bit. I'm just so ashamed of this country from what we were back in wartime and the spirit of the people to now is a travesty. Well, it's a travesty. Yeah. You know, we'll literally let this, you know, by the time they all realise how much has been taken away, it's done. Yeah. They never give this stuff back. No, they don't, do they? No, they don't. No. Well, we're still at war, aren't we? You know, every time they have Parliament, you know, are we still at war? And the answer comes back, yes, and that's been going on since World War II, that little bit, hasn't it? Or was it before that? I don't know. Apparently, it's a question that the Prime Minister asks every morning. Not necessarily in Parliament, certainly at 10, are we still at war? Yes. Yes. So that's why we've got, you know, all these powers are in, because they held us in that state where they have more power because allegedly we're at war. Yeah. It's them we're at war with. Yeah, I know.
Barney.
Oh, God. And they've got all the weapons. Well, that's now you know why that right was taken, although obviously it hasn't been taken away. They've just it's like a driving, you had the right to travel. Yeah? But with the right to driver's license. So now they've changed it. They've taken you right away and selling it back to you. Exactly what they've done with
one of the first stopped your right to bear arms because they knew what we were like, but not anymore.
Yeah. No.
You imagine a few hundred thousand people up in town now.
That's no gun. That's a sovereign slingshot. It may resemble a gun, but what language do you speak? Ah, well. Let me correct you. Yes. Naked moonlight bathing. Moonlight shadow. Dum, 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 your moonlight shadow. He saw your face. He saw your face and he legged it. That's what happened. He saw your fucking boat race. Yeah, he's back. He's coming back in. Here we go. He's knocking. He's in Sweden, and other than that, I do not know, brother. Simon, are you back? Yes. He's just muted himself. That's it. Yes, I. No, that's a good segue just for now to breathe a minute and come back to reality and say what go on, and have you got anything in particular you want to talk about, make a comment of? Is there some legal aspect chasing your person of which you may want to be duly informed? Then fire away, my man. May I ask what the quantum root is? Because I've never used or heard of that. I know what quantum technologies and quantum maths and science and language, but yeah. Aha, gotcha. Yeah, quantum grammar. Okay, okay. Yeah, you need to follow that with, yeah, you could use that alongside you managing your person. Your person's not alive. There's your data self, your person, and then there's you. So the advert on the TV for Experian and Equifax points that out. So yeah, we have the rulings. Lord Coke is the one that points out corporations are soulless dead entities, and so therefore they are persons, but they're legal dead persons. So we have the case law for that as well, but quantum grammar won't really render the controversy at law. It won't discharge it, and it won't meet it, and it all it does is sets out, if anything, a capacity, a standing status, and the status would go to private, and they won't be trained to understand strictly this quantum parse syntax, now correct sentence structure. So even though that is valid and will work, you would have to also use the rulings of the architecture, the principles, which are he who makes the claim is got to prove that they have a claim and who that claim is against. If it's V5, then you can do what we've said to Barney. Ask them for proof of the driver. If they give you a photo of a van somewhere, or it's parked up and it's a parking one and it's not a travelling one, then again, you know, you would you just ask them for proof. You can conditionally accept it, and you could then, you know, go into the 3-letter stage and get them into a default position. They may argue that they charged a V5 driver, but that's not law. When people make claims, they have to provide who it's against. So if you're willing to accept it and then argue it legally, you can do that. We have in our files, you know, 3-letter conditional acceptance for you for charges, and you deal with it. Yeah. Whatever you tell them, yeah, generally a week or 2. So 10 days is good, 2 weeks, 5 days. Yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can look at that option. Yeah, by all means, you can look at trying to educate yourself in some ways with regards to the agency relationship, and look at Bailey and Bay Law. If you search the .com forums, you might find some writings about what the, you know, the property of the company is a credit card which they give to us. You will find that on that agreement it will say, if this card is lost or stolen, you must report it to us. At no point does this card belong to you. This card is the property of the Bank of Sovereigns in X, Y and Z. So you have somebody else's property which you've been authorised to use, and you've been given it for a time, and the relationship that you have there is kind of interesting, because there is a trust set up in this, not technical trust set up, but there is agencies and there's creditors and there's debtors. But if you like Kevin is putting to you there, this man Roger, he knows about these novation agreements, deeds of assignments. We have case law on here for banks. I've spreaded it out in forums, and it's in Documents Mahoney, Justice Martin, Justice Mahoney. Banks, money, no money, you know, it's credit creation. Professor Richard Werner, you could educate yourself into, you know, transfer, discharge, credit, money, bills of exchange, debt, bankruptcy, gold insolvency. You know, this is where we're at. And then look at accepting. You don't have to, but by all means, for 70 quid, you can. This guy does know and does do this. I know who Kevin's on about. So it depends how desperate you are. We aren't promoting or affiliated with, and we don't get any kickback from him. But if you're not desperate and you look into, then there's a lot of information which you seem like an articulate, sharp man that wants to learn and soaks the foot like a sponge. So I just want to, I don't think it would be anything that you couldn't initially handle, and get your head around, and then we could have, yeah. Oh no, yeah, that's it. It depends. You dictate. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, go on, Kevin. You see, when you sign for the credit card and stuff like that, and they agree a limit with you in the beginning, you're actually entering into an agreement, which is a trust agreement, which is a constructed agreement, and you authorise, much like when you go to a bank and you get a mortgage or you get a loan, and you give that signature. That signature, they securitise these documents and instruments, these promissory notes, mortgages, applications, bank loan agreements, and then they securitise and bond them, and the prime, subprime, special purpose vehicles, and they know that they can be put onto markets and sold. So the same thing happens when you sign for that credit card. It's as if it was a mortgage or a bank loan. There was a set agreed amount that you was going to be given to play with. It's their card. It's a commercial trust, constructed public, agreement. It's not private. It's commercial. It's done for business. It's called. We used to say they were contracts, but it's not a contract. And agreements, are quite flexible in their terms. And when you look at all of this, you can even argue, down to the finer points. Where was the money? Where did it originate from? What bank was it created in? Because if it was transferred, or was it created at the point? Often we find in discovery that, like Kevin said, they created some digits to keep the economy afloat, the markets. Other than selling stuff, the banks are authorised to create so much money in mortgages and bank loans, which doesn't exist. They actually just type it, and that's how the credit creation is formed. There is money bought from the Bank of England, and that accounts for so much. So you're going to find in this monetary mechanics of ours, the government and the market is allowed for a regulatory amount of creation, which these fuckers go out and do, and then come back, and so it doesn't exist. You sign for it. People think that this is not real, but it is a finer workings of the economy, money, mechanics, and how this bullshit system works. And then later, they try and come and take your stuff, which you've worked hard for, which wasn't just created out of nothing. So it's not really a fair game. As long as you're not just in it to take the Michael, and you're honourable about it, and you can hold them to account. It's an interesting setup. But you look at Bailey Bay law and agency law relationships, and that's exactly what you're dealing with there. You can post a link up if you want, and then it's up to anybody, a YouTube recording or this one, how they choose to proceed. We're ultimately an educational portal that can often, many times, offer information to stop shit hitting the fan. But for effective estate administration, management, transfer, discharge, and that, to learn more or to help out, and there is a trusted. I suppose he's in our trust in some ways. I've never really met him, but he's never really done me wrong. And he used to be an admin in one of the groups that we had some years ago. So I have got some history with him, and he has commented on Kevin and I and our work and the acumen that we have. So there is a strong amount of trust, but we're not here to, sell this man's work. We're here to get you to research and to actually get into the game as well. But it should the need arise, and if you would take the pleasure, then he's a trusted, all right, reliable man. But it's just an option for you. But we get nothing from it, and we're not here for that. It's I feel a little bit awkward. No, there's not. It's not like that at all. But if you get stuck, then you can go out and look out wherever you want, find information. People try offering to take your money, and then they disappear. And that's what I mean. It's not. Yeah.
He might actually say, actually, you've done that wrong, and I can't correct that now, and blah blah blah. So that's why I mentioned him early. But he's a good lad. I'm not, obviously the idea is not to pay any money at all. But that is an option for you. I'll put the email out in a second. I'll put it up in the chat here.
Okay.
For you. I've got to get it off my phone though, so that might be awkward. I'll have a look what I can do. I know. I'll go and have a look now. If I get cut off, I'll be back. Oh no, I can hear you all. That's good. Right, that's a start. Right. Yeah, I'll post it. I'll type it out in the chat in a minute for you, Simon.
Barney, what are you saying? Are you all good? Michelle? Little princess. Tea princess. Right there, someone at the door. Who's that? Was waiting room 1. Kathy T. Sister Kathy is in the house in a moment's time. Here she comes. What? Good evening, Kathy. What? It's the sovereign way. We wouldn't expect it any other way. Yeah.
reception here was awful, so yeah, 3G, 4G wasn't working, not very good. But we got wireless now. Back online. Yeah, how have you been? You okay? Yes, fine, and busy work, but I cut my ankle for a couple of years ago, and I saw a physiotherapist today. Yeah, £60 for an hour. But, I know. But it was worth it, because managed to get to grips with it. There's a lot of stretching tissues there, and I had an X-ray of a ligament between the bone loss and I doctor just said, no, you've got to get away with this thing. It was very painful. Yeah. It's just last half the year, but it has helped. Yeah. So lots of feedback against yeah. Hope and mobility. Yeah.
Yeah, nice to hear from you. Sorry to hear from your news. A ligament tearing off a bit of bone. That's strength. That's some kind of Iron Woman strength you've got there. Said you was a strong lady. Look how strong that is. Your ligaments taking away your bone to the bone. Bless. You're training too hard. Yeah, you're going too hard, look. Bless you. No.
In the fresh air. Yeah, walking in the fresh air. That's got to be better.
No, there was just myself and Simon there. Simon's joined. He's joined us this evening, so we're all quiet. It's a quiet one, which is nice actually. I'm quite tired myself, and yeah, it's been a bit weird. When I were at the beginning of April, soon flies by, doesn't it? Time seems to be going rather fast for me.
Very fast, really. Very fast. Almost as fast as coronavirus regulations potentially soon. Yeah, but I don't know what we're going to do about this vaccine passport, because I'd rather throw my smartphone in the river than take this out.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that is part of what gets here. You can always say, as you see, I'm pretty certain something like 70 to 80% coverage on the vaccine. So that would be coverage enough for them to stop it. So I'm not sure whether we need to use the project to get more people to take that. And then they go, oh, actually don't do that now. So, you know, or it's decided, it's made the paper, you don't know, it would be through here, which I totally have to do it. Yeah, but scary stuff. Actually, we're going about scary territory,
I'm not sure which one of them it was. It was Kristen Jones or Rockefeller that said if we can get them to accept forced vaccination, we can get them to accept forced euthanasia, forced sterilisation, everything is all coming. So this is we're just a sheep deploying.
Well, the general public are. Yeah, this is another reason why protests and going out there and getting boots on the ground are great. But if you're researching, you've got a million areas to look at: technology, science, health, flat Earth, sovereignty, free man, common law, syntax, grammar. But when you find out certain things, and with law, when you're looking at it for the right reasons, it takes you on a magical journey. It leads you to the Latin. Latin leads you to the Vatican leads you to the Bible leads you to these scriptures lead you to going back in time. You follow the bloodlines and Santos Bonacci's, Jordan Maxwell's, and yeah, there is a plan. There is definitely a plan. There's definitely a fan with a plan. And what we found out is, by accident, the status, standing and capacity is the Achilles heel to it all. It may be not that everybody can do this, but initially we all start out trying to take down a system, and generally like a politician or a doctor in it for the right reasons, but they generally get bought out by the machine. But we've come in maybe a bit too gung-ho, wanting to maybe take down a system because we've got vexed and ripped off or suffered at the hands of, and then we find out that there is no stopping the machine and bringing it down. It's actually moving yourself from that public legal person. If you could administrate the estate effectively in law at present standards that we have, and biblical law, legal law, and international law, which are the three main laws, and they're inclusive as your common laws, admiralty, etc. You've got ecclesia overpinning that, and if you can look to argue effectively in these realms about who owns what and whom is who, and like I've done some posts at the minute with actual scriptures of their own legal, because it's a Christian nation and you've got a Bible in a courthouse. This is why there is a clear, effective way to look at the scriptures on your journey of enlightenment and wondering what's going on, as you're discovering things that aren't necessarily strictly law, but they are to do with the ones that imposed it and for their benefit and reasons of. So it's the status, standing and capacity, we don't have to worry so much of that if you could effectively argue with all of those areas, legally, lawfully, ecclesiastically, Abrahamically. You're not go far wrong. Good man, Kev. Bless you. Do you? Oh no. Oh wow, that's desperate. That's so desperate, going around platforms, finding scanning groups, and then planting seeds of people. Yeah, nobody that I know has got a good thing to say about the universal community, or even the kindness credits, or even Elizabeth herself. So it's danger. It really is dangerous grounds, that. Plus giving your birth certificate, your person away, and giving powers of attorney to estates and that. I know anybody can order a birth certificate, but that's just desperation as well. That's just shows you the levels that if your reputation preceded you, we would kind of do it the other way, or people would come to you. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. She tells a big story and offers you the world, but for nothing, without any prior knowledge or any warming up or any welcome packs or any training of any kind. And she promises to people to manage their debts, we buy any debts through the universal, community law trust that they've got. and they've invented a system to rival the 200 and something year old bills of exchange and the architecture that governs all of the financial transactions in this landmass, the UK primarily. And she's designed a system to aggravate it and vexate it and send it bits of IOUs which aren't formally recognised, and she takes people's birth certificates and makes promises of, you know, debt eradication and estate management, and then people generally say it goes quiet once you send somebody that you know, financial instrument, the birth certificate, your legal person, then they can do things with that. You know, it's a financial reference instrument, and it's just madness. So we are wary of her. She's never come along on a chat. She's been caught being childish in her conduct on Facebook with regards to slander, defamation of character, cheap shots when asked to deliver the goods, the substance, when stopped in the tracks and explained about, you know, trust and relationships and principality. We are all walking central banks. Why not show the ones that you're recruiting whom they are, what they are, and how they can effectively discharge and transfer and use endorsement and private remedy with their own, you know, and why would you want to? It's just madness. So again, you're all walking central banks, and for her to create what she's created is such a diversion. It's like she lives in a dreamland, and she wants to be recognised and effective at what she does, and it's just nobody we know has got anything positive to say. And what we know and what we understand and see, she's going the backwards direction to where we're trying to take everyone else. So if you're all a walking central bank and you need a thumbprint and your equitable asset to go with the equitable instrument, that's all you need. You know, you don't need that lady to manage your estate or to not manage your estate and do whatever she's possibly doing. We don't know, but we don't like it, you see. That's it. Hello, Cafe. Yeah. Hey. All right. There she is. Go on, Simon. Sorry. Yeah. Terminology. That's professional terminology. Yeah, go on. Sorry, Kevin. Go on. Yeah. Yeah. Andy Devine, Greece. Liz Nelson, Greece. Yeah, Andy Devine, he's preaching out from Greece. Liz is out in Greece somewhere and have been arrested allegedly. Yeah. And who else is there? I forget, there's a few. Bless you. Well spotted, Kathy. Well, that's the proper sovereign on the in the moment. I know him over, and your flags and your alarms went off, and you're like, hang on, oh, here she is off again. Look, peddling the pedal, the patter. Oh, the ecclesiastical deed poll. Go on, yeah, yeah, I got you. The birth certificate, Norman. Yeah, birth certificate. Yeah. COVID, virus and COVID, virus, danger. And put some sellotape over your thumbprint. That'll do, yeah, when you've done it, when you pricked it in blood. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's. She has. If she's got it from the .com, it'll be dot. If it's from SPLs, it's that one. Yeah. Yeah. We've got it. No, I've never sent it. I'm one. Sun Tzu, The Art of War, another good one. It is possible to win the battle, but without ever facing your enemy and opponent. And I'm like, no way. Now I'm getting older. I'm appreciating these kind of tactics. So you can also do it all to the point of having it ready to send and have it even addressed, but just keep it with you in your private papers, with your last will and testament, with your assigned powers of attorney, with all necessary estate-y like things that you have there to prove, and title to your deeds, and then you don't need to necessarily get in touch with anybody unless you are comfortable with them actually saying hello, and you don't mind. Yeah, doing that. It depends on the level of threat upon your person and how quickly you often need to put the shields up as well. But for administration, from public to private, I don't see any harm in sending that off to. And I've got two general registers. One's the main one that everyone's got, and then one's the one from somewhere else. A side shoot place. I don't know. I can't remember anything about it, but there are two. I've come to find a big one and a little one. One's hidden away. Yeah. Oh God, it's like This Is Your Life. Here we go. Bow, 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 bow. Oh, that's all in the capital text with the dashes and that looks, yeah. Pig Latin, dog Latin, something like that. Yes. It's all a bit beyond me, some of this bit now, because much like, this is beyond me, my love. The ink and the ribbon and the colours and, yeah, we have. Secret squirrels, aren't they? Eh? I've watched the YouTube video. Now I'm a genius. I've learnt trigonometry in 2 videos. Or I'm a doctor now. I'm a lawyer. It's madness what people, how they form opinions of life. And bless you all. Is there anybody else that's got any issues then, or something you want to bring up or broach, speak about? Simon, you all right? You want to ask anything? Well, go on, you first.
So that's the situation. You would then resign. You would resign from the job, and then you would go through a tribunal process because it would be deemed as constructive dismissal. Nobody can tell you what to put in your body. Nobody. If they make that a condition, then they constructively got rid of you by their own action. Again, it's a long road, but that's one of the options you have. But you would have to ask for consent. You could also say to them, I'm more than happy to have a jab as long as you accept full liability for anything, any illness or costs or damages, everything that they happen to be as a result of taking that jab. Nobody's going to sign that. Nobody's going to sign that.
Not only that,
So you could go.
it's a bit of a long. Sorry, I was going to say it's a bit of a long story, but when I was younger, I was in a coma. I had encephalitis. I was in a coma for 2 weeks.
Right.
And before I had that, I had the tetanus jab. So they weren't sure if the tetanus jab was the reason that I went into this coma. So they said, don't take any jabs unless you need to. So because of that, I didn't have CG. So I could use that as a reason, even though I doubt that I've got it right.
Is that on your medical? That's obviously on your medical record, isn't it?
But it definitely will be that I was in a coma, but not necessarily that I had that conversation with the doctor saying I shouldn't take any jabs. But I didn't have the BCG because of that.
No, that's okay. So you were advised. Similar to me, I had a reaction once many years ago to a flu jab. Now I've since discovered if you have a reaction to anything, they're not meant to ever give you anything else. That's in their rules. But yeah, I mean, as I say, you just put the liability onto them. Okay, yeah, I'll take the jab, but you must assume all liabilities for. There'll be conditional acceptance type thing. I conditionally accept. But the conditions are that you accept all liabilities, costs, harm, damages that may come to me as a result of that jab, blah, blah, blah. And they're not going to sign it. If they then dismiss you, you've got clean hands because you've conditionally accepted their offer, and they've gone, well, you can't work anymore. That's constructive dismissal. I know it's a long road, but that is just a fact. They'll shoot themselves in the foot. I know it's awkward for you. You don't want to lose your job. You want to keep working. I get that. But I have money coming in. But nobody can force you to do anything. If it's not in your contract, you're working for them, and if you've got a contract or agreement, whatever you want to call it, they can't come along and go, right, we're putting this in that now. We're going to add this. They've got to ask you. And if you don't agree, they say, well, you can't work with it. If you don't, that's constructive dismissal.
Yeah. They try, don't they? And argue and bully. Yeah, you. Agenda 21 in your face. Hello, remember that one? Yeah, it is. And then modified DNA. Yeah, DNA is getting modified. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, in your face. I'm gonna let you. Yeah. Yeah. They assume our consent is what it is. Yeah. You assumed. Ah. You,
One of my friends says that karma is a really big thing to them. So even if they hide something and it's still put on the 101st page on their website, from their point of view, they're told.
yeah.
So, yeah. That's right. That's it. It's really good. They take it, you know, stupidly long. But they don't really go over the years. Similarly, another day, I had a story which was on YouTube quite a while ago about a guy going to do that. He was circuit card, not exactly paper. He crossed out certain parts of it, decided that he had to. And then came after it. He went, well, no, I got rid of those parts. The basic shit of what he's done is a full part of the contract completely. That's it, then we're going to do it.
Ah, yes. Bravo. Can we look at wrapping up then in the next 10 minutes? One more tune, one more. We're used to this. Go on. Sorry. Yeah. No, it's there's various bits of information in the pages and the email that I've given you, and these witnesses. There's biblical witnesses you could use. The witnesses. Hello. What? All right. Yeah. You've got references to faith as well. Books, religious books. There. You know the Holy Spirit, you could say, and there are other connotations from other faiths you could put there as well, and then physical human beings. There's a long list that we've got options for, and just some upstanding pillar of the community, someone who's even someone who's got form to the police. After you've paid your debt to society, you're classified as back equal with everybody else, allegedly, aren't you? But teachers, doctors, people that privately that may have professions, that are respected, something like that. Yeah, go on, Kevin. Anybody? Your mum and your sister. I'm going to use Yanka and Anne Marie for me. You know what I mean? For my witnesses. So that's my wife and daughter. But you could use as many. It doesn't have to be. They're just someone to say that they know. That they were there when you autographed that, and that you are, like a notary public confirms that the one that is on there, autographed, which signed, is the one that showed the ID that matches that. So the notary then puts their stamp on to say. So that's all we're saying. Yeah, that there is witnesses. I've put Matthew, a chapter from Matthew on the .com in the Eli forum about when there is two, or because a Christian nation and a Christian book. Not so much that I'm here to preach to anybody, but in Matthew it does say, the chapter where if there are 2 or 3 men gathered, then I am here as Christ Jesus with you. So that means that 2 witnesses at law make a fact. So it's just playing them at their own game, getting 3 good men that aren't professional or academic. They will still hold weight. It's good if you can get something a bit above, and you can explain to them that this is you saying that you have a person. And authentic incarnate is something that's real, flesh and blood. So there is man with person, and that this document, they're attesting to the fact that you are man with person. And should anybody ever ask them who you are, what you are, and did they attend that, I don't know, or you are autographing it, so you are the author, so you're authorizing it. So authorship, you're making it come alive and be respected as that. Because when the police arrest, they don't ask for a coat of arms, and they don't ask for a family crest. They take these, don't they? They take the fucking handprints. So this is where we were thinking, the thumbprint, witnessed, bosh, it conforms to everything. So yeah, but bless anybody. Yeah. Yeah. Write that on, yeah, if you're political. Yeah, this is it. There's 3. 3's good, yeah. Notary Public. He's got a Notary Public there. You could hire them out. We're sending ours to you from now on. Look at this. I've got some ideas here. You can notarize these, please. Got a big new batch. Bless, I'm joking. That's all right. They'll do lovely. Fair play, yeah. Crack on. material. Oh, thank you. No, it's not about having brains. It's just understanding, like what I said to you in that post about where it says about the mind of Christ being, and there's the references from the chapter and verses, and you asked questions about that, and I was like, the only bit to get is that bit, that it says. So it's not. It's just about changing your mindset, I suppose. And then there is material to read though and reference, so you must. That's good that you don't just rush into something because it looks like the thing to do, and you're doing it because you're gonna make sure you know what you're doing and that you feel comfortable and you understand it. So credit to you. So don't feel that it's in any way. No. It takes as long because it's a physical cog turning in your head as well about how you see yourself and your positions, how things are, and if you agree with something or you don't agree. It's for you to decide, my love. Yeah, it's not about. Yeah, it is a long road, though, isn't it? When you're changing over from, even Greg said it to me, and he's a website designer. It's like it's mad. He says my life's changed. He said the TV license people, they're nothing to me now. Because he's like, yeah, bless him, and he's like, I used to think that I was Mr. Gregory Hibbins, but I'm not even him. He says, I can't believe, and he goes, and I build websites, David. He goes, and you're telling me that as much as I thought I knew shit, he says, and we're doing this website, and what I'm learning as we're chatting and we're working, he says, you'd never have seen it, because you've shown me a whole new world that I never knew I was part of, that I've now escaped from. I goes, I know, this is just, it is, so Kathy, don't, even a website engineer has said it's blowing his head apart, the fact that the information that we have, because Greg obviously can see, what we can see. He's got a supporter, Greg G-Star administrator, so he's had his head light. He just says it's unbelievable that I thought, and now he treats the date of birth, the surname, questions, people knocking at the door, claims, doesn't get angry, all of these things that he's learned to now, manage and do, and recognise danger sign, danger, like you with Imoven. Danger. Sorry. Hmm. Oh, look, Queen. I've got to go. I'll be back in a minute. All right. Check. You used to be able to, in the old days, Kathy. Dr. Pepper. The post office is like what, sorry? Yeah, it's like a big court. It's like effectively a, yeah, it's yeah. Yeah. They're given in a legal capacity, so they're legal instruments, so they're illegally recognised, you see. So even though they're given to a corporation or a judge who can only speak to dead people, if you autograph, then she's gone. Oh, Simon's gone. If you autograph it or if you sign it, you know, public and private, you can do them in different ways: thumbprint, autograph, or signature. Have them legal or lawful and put them into legal realm. It's in the commercials. Maxims there, Robert from the observation decks just cottoned on, I think via my comments to Dr. Graves that he interviewed in his paralegal courses and stuff, that his views of law I put down about affidavits, and Dr. Graves has said that they can be treated as hearsay but not according to principles of law and the commercial maxims, and an unrebutted affidavit is a powerful instrument for defence or pointing your truth out in your law. So yeah, so they're go on. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
But make sure as well, Kathy, that you address it to a man or a woman of a corporation, not the
Yeah.
corporation itself.
Yeah.
Man or woman heading it, I would say.
Yeah. 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 No, you're welcome. Right, Anne Marie's coming back now, so I'm going to say, yeah, let's go and say good evening, campers, superstars. We need to fix your SPL's email. Remember, that needs fixing. You need to fix it. Yeah. I'm joking. Yeah, well, let me know when you're ready. I'll fix it with you. Right. Thank you, Simon. Nice one. Good. Nice to meet you. Thank you, Barney. Yeah. Simon's gone, but he's on YouTube. Yeah, he's nipped out. His sound Zoom stopped working. So yeah, nice one, Simon. We're getting off. Bless up. See you later, fam.